Hi, this is Vicki with Cignot, and I'm going to do a quick unboxing, assembly, and cleaning of the eGo-C. What you get in the kit is you get a manual. You will get 2 batteries, 2 atomizer bodies, a blister pack of 5 heads, 2 tank condoms, 5 tanks. The condoms can be used over the tank should you want to soften the bite. You get a USB charger, and I never use my USB port on my computer to charge my batteries. A motherboard is far too precious. So you get an AC to USB adapter so that you can use wall power, and you get a pouch. To charge the battery, I recommend that you dry the top of the battery. Liquid tends to get in there, and the liquid will dirty the charger, and this one's a difficult one to clean because it's inset. So just take a paper towel or a rag. You don't want to rinse the battery, and you just dry it off before screwing it on. When you screw it onto the charger, where this plugged in, the light will flash 5 times, indicating that it is a healthy battery. The LED light on the charger will be red when it's charging and turn green when it is fully charged. You may get, depending on your selection, an eGo-C or eGo-T battery. They both have the safety shutoff. You press the button 5 times within 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the battery will turn on. You press it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the battery will turn off so that if the button is accidentally hit, it will not activate. Makes it safer to carry it in your pocket. The eGo-C also has a colored light in the button, and what happens at 50% power, that light will turn instead of white, it will be a light blue. When it becomes critically low and needs to charge, it'll become dark blue in color. To assemble, you take the atomizer body, and you take a head. I'm going to use the one that we're going to clean today. And you put the head point first into the cone part of the body, and you screw the base on. You do not need to screw too tight. You just need for it to make contact. That gives you some room. So if you find that you're not making contact at some point in time, you've got some more to screw. You take the tank, and I know that in the instructions it says to press gently, but you need to pierce the tank. The atomizer head has a piercing tube. The liquid must flow out of the tank through the hole, through that piercing tube, through the wick, down to the coil. So you really do need to give it quite the push, and I give it a little twist in order to pierce that tank. You should verify that the tank is indeed pierced. Otherwise, you will not get liquid to the coil, and you'll get dry burning hits. And then you just simply screw it onto your battery. I have a used one here. And again, no need to screw it very tight, just so it's making contact. And I can hear a hiss, which means it is making contact. On to cleaning. You remove the atomizer body from the battery. You remove the tank, and you unscrew the body and get the atomizer head. I use a small screwdriver. You'll see that there are 2 slots on the side, and what I do is just pry on each side gently. You don't want to take this out of round because then it just gets difficult to put it back. It's just press fit, and that pops out. You'll see the wick in the piercing tube, and what you do is that you burn it clean by holding it with pliers and holding it over a stove burner. And I apologize, I can't take you with me for this. What you will see is that the silica fibers that make up the wick will turn red, and they will start to glow. This could also just kind of burn itself as it's burning the gunk of your liquid, that burnt residue as it's burning it clean. It will turn red and glow, and then once it cools, the silica wick will turn white again. I like to rinse my head, my body, because liquid does tend to get in there and it just gunks things up. So just rinse it off and shake it. And then you dry burn the coil. You put it back in the head without putting the plate back on. Screw it tight. Maybe give it a shake to get the extra water out. You screw it to your battery. And you activate your battery on and off until the coil starts to glow. What happens is that liquid and the flavorings get burnt and they cling to the coil, and it'll form a cocoon around it, and you'll no longer even be able to see the rings of the coil. That will eventually kill your atomizer. Liquid can't hit it, so it can't produce vapor, and you will be trying to get vapor. You'll activate it too long and the coil will pop eventually. So if you keep that coil free of that gunk, not only will your vaping taste better, but your atomizer will live a far longer time. I think you can see the glowing. Again, you don't want, blow some of the smoke out there for you. You don't want to keep it activated too long. The coil will get too hot and it will pop. You should start seeing the cocoon that is around the coil turn white. You are turning it to ash. And once you can clearly see the rings of the coil, or that the ash has turned white, it may be so thick you can't even see the rings of the coil. Once you see that it's turned a white or a gray, you remove the, it is hot by the way, so be careful. You remove the head from the body so you can see it. I use a wooden toothpick and I just simply scrape away the ash from the coil. Sometimes I have to do this process more than once. If it's thick, I'll scrape away what I can. I will rinse it and I will dry burn again. I'm going to rinse this so all the ash is cleared. The wick. These can leak. Around the wick and inside the tube, the piercing tube here, there is a metal mesh. That metal mesh should not be able to be seen from the bottom. It can drop sometimes. So what I do when I have it apart and I'm cleaning is I make sure that it's pushed up all the way, but I also tamp it a little bit. I'm messing up the fibers because liquid's flowing through it all the time. A channel can form, giving the liquid a clear path, and your coil will flood. The coil is small. It's powerful enough to create vapor with a small amount of liquid, but too much liquid and it's just simply not powerful enough to heat it all. So I just gently poke at it and tamp it a little bit to mess up the fibers, make sure that I can't see the metal mesh from the bottom, and then I prime it just a bit because I burnt all the liquid off and it's dry. This is just VG and water. I just drop a small drop of it on there and then reassemble. You just place it back, and I use a needle nose pliers and I go on both sides and I just give it a little tap to make sure that it's seated. And that's it. Your atomizer is clean. Thank you, and again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I am always happy to help.